Whether you're somebody that's bullish on the market or bearish on the market over the next year, I got some very important things to show you in today's video. And those things I think are going to open up some folks' minds in some big ways. But at the start of this video, I want to cover a subject that I'm so disappointed I feel like no one else has covered this subject. And the fact is, we've lost, and we've lost in a massive, massive way. And I want to explain what has happened here and what's transpired and take you guys through a little history lesson over the past 1 to 2 years, because I haven't really seen anybody talk about this, but I think it's about time somebody that, has a little more influence out there talks about this and admits defeat in this situation, because we lost. Let's just put it that way. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Hope you get some good value out of it. I appreciate everybody that's subscribed to the channel. Okay, so let me take you back to 2021. 2021 was a year, especially early in the year and into the springtime, early summertime, that retail was causing massive problems on Wall Street. It was causing hedge funds, was causing other types of investment funds to almost go belly up in some situations. And it was causing them to lose billions of dollars, and in some cases, tens of billions of dollars in different stocks like GameStop, AMC. Now, this was a massive problem Wall Street never saw coming. They never saw this coming. And all of a sudden, they were faced with this foe that it was like, what's going on here? Like, we got this game down, and all of a sudden, all these kids are coming in and causing us to lose billions or tens of billions of dollars like that. What's going on here? Now, this was a massive problem, way beyond money. Things go way further than money sometimes in situations, and it becomes about a lot more than just the dollars. This was embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing to these Wall Street folks that were far more sophisticated, had far more money, far more tools than these retail folks that were wreaking havoc on them. It was even worse so because you got to understand, a lot of big money folks, they secretly have massive egos. And the way a lot of these Wall Street folks are going to look at this is they're going to say, well, why don't you have a look at this? All these people taking all my tax money, because they're getting all the stimulus money, they're getting all this government money, and they're using that against me to then go ahead and cause me to lose money, and then they're going to go ahead and make memes and humiliate me. Oh, it goes way deeper than money. And I was watching all this play out during that time period, and I was like, oh boy, I don't think they know how calculated these Wall Street folks are, and that they're going to come back, and they're going to come back and cause massive havoc. And whether you think this is a probable solution, whether you think these folks are part of anything that's been going on or not, if we just look at what's happened since that time period, okay, let's just go through this together, okay? So first thing, you got to crush the number one thing that's given retail a whole lot of confidence over the years. And boy, did they do that. They've crushed Bitcoin. This past year, and Bitcoin is down 73+%. And I mean, I guess that's a good crypto, because the other cryptos, many of them are down 80 or 90% plus. So cryptos in general have been completely decimated over the past year. Companies like FTX and Voyager have gone suddenly belly up. Oh my gosh. Well, if you have a lot of tools, you can find out a lot of information. If you find out a lot of information, you can potentially if you find weaknesses, you can cause different sell-offs and panic and those sorts of things, right? BlockFi, Celsius, other things like that have, where are those ones at now, right? AMC, which was a stock that caused massive losses to these folks, stock's down 84%. GameStop down 71%. This is even from the highs. GameStop was like, gosh, what GameStop? You think GameStop went to $300 or $400 at one point? I think it's done a split at some point, but bottom line is, that one's down even more than that, right? In terms of all the other retail trader, investor type stocks, they've all been wrecked. Most of them are now trading like penny stocks. Wrecked. None of them have held up well. Tesla's the closest thing to holding up well, and the stock's still down like 50% in the past year. And that's the best. That's the best. If you're lucky, you get 50% down, right? Incredible. If you go into the Wall Street Bets community, it's a shell of what it was a year and a half ago. I mean, I remember going in there a year ago, and it was just crazy. The amount of people posting stuff, the amount of people commenting, it was insanity. Now you go in there and I mean, compared to what it was, the place is like a ghost town. It's incredible. If you pull up a Google Trends for Wall Street Bets, the numbers went so insane during that time that basically nowadays it makes it look like hardly anybody even searches Wall Street Bets because numbers went that insane on the Google Trends. It was ridiculous, okay? And that's just like, their forum is just like not even remotely close to what it used to be, right? Look at margin debt. Margin debt has been crashing, and it's going to crash a lot more over the next few months. This is back from September data. I can only imagine where data is at today. I wouldn't be surprised at all if we're in the 500-something billion dollar range for margin debt, which is back to like 2018, 2019 type numbers now at this point in time. So we know retail love to use margin. How do you kill margin? Well, you can easily kill margin. Cause interest to go up massively. So if people start losing money on stocks left and right, on top of that, their margin interest rates are 10%, 11%, 12%. They got no chance. That's interesting. That all played out, right? Options. So options was got insanely popular at the end of 2020 and early 2021. This video went completely viral on YouTube about a year and a half ago. And it picked up, over 10 million views. It's at 15 million here today. It picked up ridiculous amounts of views. I remember that video coming out. And it didn't do much the first few months. And then all of a sudden, everybody started getting into options. And then next thing you know, it was 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 5 million, 6 million, 9 million, 10 million. It was incredible. And what do you think's happened to everybody's options contracts? Well, they've all expired. Worthless. Everybody's been playing calls for basically the past year. Worthless options, okay? What about the favorite platform of the Wall Street Bet crowd? What is that platform? And for retail in general, it's Robinhood. And why don't you have a look at this number? Their users have fallen off a cliff, off a complete cliff now at this point in time, where, obviously just incredible amounts of people were signing up for Robinhood in 2021 and joining that service and using it. And it's, they've lost millions and millions and millions of users. And I think at some point they'll bottom in 2023 likely in terms of the amount of people, users using it on a monthly basis. But it's been awful. So there's Robinhood been completely crushed, right? So in this whole situation, I think the moral of this story is, one, retail lost. They lost massively. And the second thing is, in the future, I think it might be intelligent for us not to, make fun of Wall Street and point fingers and things like that on that sort of scale, because they will come for 100% revenge. Now you might say, well, isn't it the Fed that's caused all this havoc? Could be. Who's close to the Fed? Billionaires? Wall Street folks? Or the guy on Wall Street Bets? Who's got access to those sorts of folks? Who's in those sorts of folks' ears, right? So, devastation like we, haven't really seen. And it's just incredible. And so retail lost in that whole situation. Wall Street's fine with the dollar cost averaging approach, and they're fine with folks buying stocks and things like that. But when you start causing them to lose billions and tens of billions of dollars, and then you make fun of them in their face, they're going to come for revenge, and they will win in the end. It's like Daenerys. You ever seen that Daenerys scene when it's toward the end of Game of Thrones and she just burns up everybody in the whole village, right? Regardless if they're innocent or not, and it feels very much like that. And everybody's just been burned up in this situation, and almost everybody's lost everything or pretty darn close to it. It's been pretty darn extraordinary. Okay, now for the folks that are making it through the market, and you're going to survive, and you're going to make it out to the other side, and you're going to continue to build your portfolio over the coming months and coming years. Congrats to you. Okay, I got some things to show you in this video, and it's a long road back, right? But it is a road we can take to get back. So first off here, large caps are much more appealing than they've been in quite some time. This is the latest numbers out of Yardini. S&P 500 large caps trading at about 17 forward P. Of course, these numbers can move up. they can move down, they can move all around. But the bottom line is, this goes to just kind of show you how much more in line we are now at this point in time than where we were previously. This was a very unhealthy market, obviously, trading up, getting close to near where we were in the tech bubble. So this is definitely a good sign. I'm hoping, we'll see what happens. I'm hoping large caps come down more in 2023 because there's a lot of just large cap stocks I'm personally looking to add. Love to build a nice position in AMD in 2023. I'd love to continue to build Meta in 2023. I would love to continue to build Google, McDougal, and Amazon. Those are kind of newer stocks for me. I would love to continue to build those into massive positions and just continue to kind of build out a large cap portfolio, which is something I hadn't been able to do for quite some time because they were just trading at ridiculous valuations. It's like it had to come down. Now, on the flip side, small caps, and I feel like I've been saying small caps are due to come back for like a year now. It's been almost a year, but they're due. And I can promise you they're not going to stay down at these valuations forever. If you think that, you're thinking wrong. That's all I'll say about that, man. Because the bottom line is you can only get these stocks to trade at ridiculous values for so long. Small caps will come back. They will get to their norm, which is a 16 to 18 range for where they should be trading at. And it's going to be a lot of fun in small caps. It's just sometimes it takes time, right? And, if you were looking at small caps here and you were like, my gosh, these trading at ridiculous values, they're going to have to fall. It's going to have to fall. You had to wait a while, right? And, it kind of chilled there for a bit at pretty darn high valuations, and then things started to break. And so small caps remain a incredible opportunity. And this is why I've gotten in so many different small cap stocks. It's not like I'm trying to become the small cap investor or something like that. It's just I'm going to go where the market takes me. If the market takes me to small cap land, I'm going to go to small cap land. If it takes me to large cap land, which I think it's going to probably take me there in 2023, that's where I'm headed. I'm going wherever the market's going to take me. Wherever the market's going to give me opportunities, that's where I'm going to go. And sometimes I'm going to get wrecked going there, but I'm willing to accept that. I'm willing to accept that I get wrecked. Did I see small caps going under 14? Probably not. It happened. And then 13, and then 10, 11 range. That's where things bottomed out, obviously, for small caps. Incredible. That won't last, so I can tell you that much, right? Look at this. This is important. Extremely important. The global shipping industry is facing a new problem. Too many containers. Yeah, the container yards are literally overflowing at this point in time. It's incredible. While there was a shortage of containers at the height of the Rona, the global economy is now facing the opposite problem: too many containers. Traders and shippers say the decline in global consumer demand is not a sign the global economy is normalizing, is not a sign that the global economy is normalizing after obviously the lockdown consumption rush, but a downward shift in consumer appetites. Ooh, okay. Blank and canceled sailings are also on the rise in what is usually the opposite as this year's biggest spending period approaches. Interesting. Look at this here. The latest Composite World Container Index, a key benchmark for container prices, has fallen again to $2,773 per 40-foot container. That's 73% lower than peak rate September last year. Cry me a flippin' flapjack and river, okay? So this is amazing news if you deal with any company that has to ship product overseas. This is a massive deal because for those companies, they have had to pay through the roof to ship any product overseas. It's been ridiculous, okay? Absolutely ridiculous. And most of these companies' contracts are going through the end of 2022. So you're really going to start to see these numbers reflected in a positive way in 2023. I also wouldn't be surprised at all if container rates continue to come down for the next 6 to 12 months. I wouldn't be surprised at all. So if you deal with any company, and one comes to mind, one I think about immediately when I think about container costs, it's Corsair Gaming, because they have to ship their products usually from Asia over to the United States or over to Europe, if they're selling products over there, right? And, they're sending their keyboards and all their other products, right? And these container costs have been ridiculous. And even, Andy Paul, the CEO of the companies, he's called this out several times, where they've had to spend this ridiculous amount of money just to ship the product. And he was even mentioned, we might get into the container business if prices keep going like this. It's ridiculous, right? but it's a commodity, and eventually it's going to come down, as all commodities do. And when it comes to containers, it's one of the simplest commodities out there. And it destroyed companies' margins, it destroyed companies' cash flows and profitability, and caused havoc. But I can tell you, it's all coming to an end. And this is a great situation for countless companies that have to ship product overseas, okay? And this is something that is going to help companies' margins out in a massive way. This is why I am extremely confident that we're going to see tons of companies have much better margins in 2023 than 2022. There's going to be some companies that I think if you're talking about any companies that basically a customer has to get a loan to buy it, those are the ones I worry about their margins. Think about automakers and home builders and things like that. I don't know about those companies. But when it comes to a lot of the small cap companies that have had their margins wrecked over the past year because of all these different ridiculous costs, I look at all of them and they're coming down massively. I don't care if it's raw commodities that has to go into a product. I don't care if it's not something we're looking at like container prices. All these things have come down, 30, 40, 50, 60, some 70+%. And this will help companies' margins out in a massive way. Companies are going to be able to hit, margins that they just weren't able to hit this year. And that's going to be great for a lot of stocks and for a lot of stock prices. I don't think 2023 represents a super exciting revenue year. I don't really look at it like that. If it is, it is, but I don't really think that's the story. I think 2023 is going to be a story about a lot of companies' margins are going to get a lot better. Some will get worse though. But those are like I said, companies that are you're talking about somebody gets a big loan for it. I think that's where you'll see problems, okay? Now, I posted this on Instagram, on an Instagram story the other night. I don't know how many of you guys follow me on Instagram. You can do it. The link's in the description, okay? And it was a beautiful sunset out here in Arizona. And I said, the sun will shine again, ladies and gents. 2022 has been filled with darkness, but I can assure you we will have fun in the sun again in the future. For now, buy and don't stop. Every month, buy assets, and more assets. In 1 to 2 years, you can stop buying and chill if you want. Do not stop buying anytime soon, though. Stay away from leverage. Leverage and options have destroyed a lot of folks this year and caused a lot of folks a lot more stress than they would have had if they just stayed away from things like call options and leverage. It's not a good situation, not a pretty situation at all when you talk about those, right? But you got to continue to build out assets in companies that you love for the long term. And, just continue to be a relentless buyer out there. And whatever the drama is, whatever the talk is, it's going to pass. I can tell you that. And 1 minute it's going to be, they're talking about inflation. And then all of a sudden that's not going to be the talk anymore. And then it's going to be on to the next thing and then to the next thing. So you just got to understand that's the way the market moves, and don't buy into all the darkness stuff all the time, because we're going to go through some traumatic times in the market where stocks are going down, stocks are crashing, but the sun does come out. And as long as you have a portfolio built out, 10, 15, 20 stocks, depending on how many you want to hold, right? And you're well diversified across many different stocks, you're going to have some that do really, really well. You have some that probably do bad. You can have some that do exceptionally well, and you're going to have some that might do exceptionally bad at a given moment, right? Now, if you're in a market that the whole market's tanking, there's a much higher probability that your entire portfolio is going to go down, but that just is what it is. Like every once in a while, you're going to get into that sort of market. And with myself, I'm very well diversified across stocks. There could be a lot of things made up about me and just BS that's all, a lot of people love to talk about me all the time, right? And it is what it is. And I don't look at that as like, that's a cool thing. It's kind of annoying, but it is what it is, right? People like to, discuss me out there. And it's never in a positive light, and it's never about my successes. They never talk about my successes about this stock or this stock or this stock or all those stocks that have, made me a tremendous amount of money, or all the money I made last year in the market, or they don't talk about any of that, right? They only shout the failures and what isn't going right. And then even when those go right, they never admit to that either. It's kind of funny how that works, but I don't expect much out of humans. You don't expect much. That's all I'll say about that. But when it comes to me, I'm very well diversified. There's no stock that makes or breaks me. None. If I have one stock that goes down a bunch, I'd likely have another stock that's going up a ton. So, that's the way I kind of view it. You got to build out a portfolio of 10, 15, 20 stocks that you love for the next 3, 5, 7 years. And you continue to buy those. And if they dip more and you still love the business model and you're confident in their balance sheet and where their income statement's going to go and their cash flows and their margins and things like that, Got to continue to load the boat, and everything else will be everything else. That's the bottom line with that. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I appreciate each and every one of you being subscribed to the channel as always. And also, just so you know, we got a massive Black Friday sale coming up for the private stock group, private Discord chat, access to everything in there. It's our once-a-year sale. So if you want to access that, check out pinned comment. Much love and have a great day.